is water.
Huh?
Interest rates is where they are. Memphis and Saltillo at one time had the two best water systems in the state. All right, we done had the prayer and the national anthem, whatever you want to call it there, the pledge of allegiance. So let's, we've got Gary Peterson up. If you wanna tell us what your concern is, we'll do that first.
Not here mad or start anything or get anything stirred up or anything like that. I just have some questions and concerns over the cell tower that's going in.
The cell tower?
Yes.
Okay.
Has there been any kind of a study or consideration given to the people that's living anywhere close around it?
We have no planning board, no zoning board, there's no regulation.
Well, but that still didn't answer my question.
I don't know where the company had it or not, that's up to them. I got the contract on it. It's signed, sealed, and delivered.
You know, I've heard.
All the permits and everything were applied for.
I've heard that. And
Nothing come through the city, because the city has no, but now that doesn't mean they didn't have state and federal regulation.
That was my next question, was this ever discussed as part of city business, and wouldn't it be city business?
It's not city business.
Why wouldn't it be? It's in the city and right in a residential area around.
We don't have zoning and planning, we don't want it.
I agree, but this is not like somebody building a barn or a house or putting up a fence. This is a great big old large thing that's gonna stick up, and, you know, I don't know exactly where it's going, I know pretty
It's
close.
gonna be right behind my house.
It's gonna be right in my front yard, basically looking at it.
You ain't gonna reach your house.
You may not reach it, but I'm gonna have to look at it.
I've seen a lot of uglier structures than that out there.
Well, this is.
Here's the thing about it, and I'll tell you this.
This is true.
There is a lot of people, and I heard a lot of complaints, a lot of concerns during the election, and the cell phone tower was in the top five.
You know, I agree when you cell phone tower, I'm not against it at all. That particular spot, to me, is not the best there is around here. There are.
We tried to get them to put it on the water tank at Handy Corner, or I didn't, the lady that got this done did, and they do not do water tanks. This is an independent company, they own no phones whatsoever, they rent their tower out, up to five phone services.
Is there?
It's kinda like prisons, you gotta have them, but nobody wants them.
This is true, and I agree with that, because I mean, you know, I don't personally have any problems with cell service. Every blue moon I do where we're at, I don't have any problems with it. But has there been anything thought of as far as property values? Because I have a nephew that's in real estate, and
Yeah.
most people don't like to buy a house or property when they're looking at a cell tower.
Yeah.
You know, how's that gonna affect property value? How's that gonna affect reselling wise?
I got more property there than anybody, and I certainly ain't worried about
You
it.
know,
Mine ain't for sale.
but I understand that, but you're gonna be benefiting from it, the rest of us aren't.
It'll benefit much,
Other
ain't like
than-
you think it is.
Other than that, and,
Now, I'm one of the few people that everybody's gonna benefit from it that's got a
Oh,
cell
that's
phone.
true.
And that's what everybody's
That's true.
wanting. The majority of the people by far, probably 90% of the people want this thing. Of course, they're all gonna argue, and some of them gonna be jealous, cause I got, my place wasn't the first pick.
yeah, I mean,
And jealousy consists in this town, it always has, and it did when I was a baby, it did before I was born.
it has
Like
ever
Jesse
since
says, you go to city meeting in Sardis, and you don't hear none of this crap. Saltillo's the only place around here that you get all of it.
it's always this side and that side. I'm not on no
Every
side.
time,
I
it
just look
always
at what's
is.
right and what I think may
Right.
be right.
Your
Everybody has an
concern is
opinion.
is looking at the tower and.
I mean, it's not gonna be a pretty thing, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm just looking at later on, if I decide to sell or whatever, you know, I'm gonna have that to deal with, and it probably will be a concern for somebody that's wanting to come there and stay there.
Yeah.
Now, if they just come in for the weekends, they don't care what's there,
Right.
doesn't matter. If they do move the cell tower from our water tank that's there now, or is how's that, or is that gonna affect our water bills?
It will affect your water.
Your
bill.
water
If they
bill
lose
will
it.
automatically go up. Right now, we're collecting, I say we, the utility department is collecting $25,000 or $26,000 a year rent. 100% of that is subsidizing your and mine and everybody's water bill.
That's
So
why
if we
try to do
lose
it.
that 25 or 26,000 a year rent, every single person, including myself, water bill is gonna go up to compensate that loss.
Absolutely.
I mean, what are we looking at on that? I mean, it's not gonna be,
We have 900 customers.
so
So,
it'll be divided out that way.
It will be divided out that much. And that rent goes up all the time, so.
A lot more than I'm getting.
Is,
I get 700.
The only other concern I had is I don't know this, I've read a lot about it. I've looked into it a little bit, there's nothing concrete, but there are some health issues concerning those things as well. It's kinda bothersome as well, and it actually affects.
There's cell tower all the way around the water tank I can see from my house right now.
This is true, and it's been there for years.
And if it's putting out the same radiation that these will, it'll be the same thing and affect the same thing.
That one's a little farther away and I can't see it.
I can see it every day, winter and summer.
But, like I said, you know, I'm not trying to stir up anything.
Right,
I mean,
right.
I voted for everybody here, maybe with the exception of one.
I'm not arguing with you, I'm just saying this is what people wanted. And the lady that done this tried her best, level, and Brandon will tell you that I think she talked with him about that, to get them to put it on the water tower at Handy Corner.
You know, I
They
mean, to me,
would
that
not.
would be a logical place to put it, would be
Yeah.
there.
The
They
cell
would not.
phone companies deal directly with the utility when they wanna put something on a tower. This company, to my understanding, they're in the business of building towers to solicit cell
Yes.
phone business.
Absolutely.
So they would have no interest in a water tower. That's competition for them.
And they're
I
not-
will say the utility absolutely does not want to lose that cell tower rent. We have been dependent on that cell tower rent to keep water rates as cheap as they are. And if we do lose that rent, it will be devastating to the utility. But we will have no choice but to raise bills, compensate for it.
If you
And
would've
if the
gained
utility board does not raise, the comptroller's office will. I mean, it's out of our hands.
But if
We
it
don't
shows them to
control
put
that.
the tower on the other the antenna on the other water tower, would the water department not benefit from that as well?
We would be happy for a cell phone company
If
to
we
wanna
could,
put
if it
one on
was
top of our.
if it was competition, could it be reached out and actually seen if we could compete with them? And get it on the water tower?
I mean,
They get it out of
he said
town.
it was independent that's doing this one. Who has this one here? Who put this one on this tower, on this water tank? Why couldn't the same people put
Yes.
on the other tank?
They were tried to. The reception on this tower, and everybody knows that it's pitiful. When they first put it in, 5 mile around, it was perfect, and then FCC come down and checked them, made them turn their, what you call them, their shields down, and they just run it. 2 mile out, and you're proof. Betty, do you get any reception out your house, just regular?
Outside I do, but not in the house, cause
Not in
it's
the
metal.
This is my thinking, but the one having a tower on the Handy Corner location would feed Lebanon and lots of other areas. I'm not
Right,
against the tower, everybody has to have one, we don't have landline, most everybody's got cell phones now.
We asked AT&T at the time, wouldn't you rather be on our Handy Corner tank? We had just assumed you be on that tank as the one here in town. To us, it was higher elevation. Their engineers said, no, we want this tank for whatever reason. It was location. I don't know what determines their location, but they wanted right here for whatever reason.
Well, I tell you about my deal. They
We
had-
would be happy for AT&T or Verizon or anybody else to put one on that water tank. We'd love, on handy corn tank, we'd love for them to. I just don't see that happening if there's gonna be a tower in town that's 300 foot whenever our water tank's 150 foot.
Of course not.
It ain't gonna happen.
Has anybody
They don't
inquired,
like
has
putting them
it
on
been
water.
inquired about,
They don't
as
like
far as
it.
putting them on the handy corner? Is anybody, I mean,
No one has contacted us.
They're not gonna do it.
has anybody here contacted anybody?
Pretty well all the this lady contacted most of the companies, and this company here was the only one that was interested. Saltillo's not Jackson.
Oh, it was
They're
true.
just not interested. There's just not enough people. And these people here don't own any phone companies whatsoever. They just lease that tower out. And they won't even start it, the tower. And I won't get that $700 a month until they get a contract with at least one phone company, or they won't build it.
The only other thing is nobody seemed to know about this cell tower.
It's been going on for 2 years.
I've talked to several and people in this room, and no one was aware of it until maybe,
But Kathy,
2 weeks ago.
I told Kathy about there's been a bunch of people turning out.
Yeah, I submitted for it.
Cell tower.
not saying that it was trying to be hid or anything.
No, it
I'm just
was not.
saying, wouldn't that be something that the public should
The
know?
public knew, cause
about it.
we knew, we told them. Kathy turned in
Miss
an
Betty called
application.
me.
Ashley Shutt turned in an
Yeah.
application,
Yeah.
lots of people turned in applications. They
And
tell
that's
you,
been-
talking about the location, Brandon, to show you how stupid they are. They was gonna put it in, of course, you know, part of my field over on the other side of my ditch where Tim Warren and all them are, that's in the floodplain. The river gets over, gets in Tim's house, it did in 73, it would've been in his house if he'd lived there. They were gonna put the tower in the floodplain down there where I got my navy and pipe. They were gonna, that's how much they do research on where they put things. And I called and told them, I said, you're not gonna put it in the floodplain. I'm not gonna sign a
But
contract.
can you
It's
tell
only
me
gonna make-
exactly where over there it's going? I know
It's gonna go right beside Fred's mom and daddy's house.
I
That
know,
was
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
On the high end of it.
They had it down there next to Cuba and Lisa, down there in that hole where my levee is and that pipe. That's where they was gonna put it, like, no, we're not putting it there, cause number one, it ain't gonna work for y'all, cause it'd be, I've seen 8 or 10 foot of water there several times in my life.
I've seen it there a couple of times myself.
Yeah,
That's all I got.
I
was just,
understand your concern.
Can I
I
say
was just-
something?
I was just-
You know, when this was brought up, what, year before last?
Yeah.
You know, there was a lot of, they were wanting exemptions without explanations, okay. But, you know, the thing is I've never been against a cell phone tower, but I really don't feel like it's safe to be in a residential area. I talked to you about that, David. You know, if you get on the internet and you look, you can find the answers that it's safe, you can find all kind of answers that it's not.
Yeah.
50-50.
Yeah, that's like riding in an airplane or going down the road in a car, it can happen.
I know, but once
I
it's
don't wanna
up,
get into
that's
it.
24/7,
Yeah.
people are exposed to the RF. And a lot of research that I've done, back whenever I had talked to Kathy about it.
Yeah.
Because my thing then, when I talked to Johnny Alexander too,
Yeah.
he said further out of town would be better because you're gonna get people more back towards
Yeah.
Nashville. But-
Anywhere you put it in Saltillo, I don't care where you put it, somebody's gonna fuss.
Well, some information that I
And
had
that's
gotten,
just how it is.
my concern is just the safety issue.
Yeah.
Because what I've also read was that younger children will be exposed to it more so than adults.
Yeah.
Because their bodies aren't developed,
Yeah.
you know, their brain and everything.
Yeah.
So, once it's up, and there's
Right.
no going back if people start having health issues. And there's all kinds of signs.
And like I say, you got this around the water tank and it's right there next to the water, joins the water. So if there's a health issue, we
Well, I
should
read
be to
that,
have a
and-
health issue with our water.
I read up on that too, and it said that that it does not go into, I'm just saying, you know, so we can find things going this way and we can find
Yeah.
things going this way. But it's just the health concerns.
with it being on the water tower, that money gets distributed throughout the citizens and the utility guys.
But they ain't gonna put it on the water tower, and ain't nobody like Verizon, none of them gonna come down to the tower.
That would be what,
It ain't gonna happen.
27.48 per customer added to the bill. If you did a 25,000 rent, if it went on the water tower out at, I mean, we don't need to lower our bill anymore, but it would be money going to the water company.
Yeah.
If it went on the water
It's
tower.
helped on your water bill a whole lot.
I'm talking about.
I can't believe
If
they
the
had
new, if the new one were to
If
go
they
out there.
had kept it up and done what they supposed to, with nobody been
No.
complaining, there wouldn't be a water tower out, I mean, another tank, tower coming up.
If you put a new one out there on the new tower at Handy Corner, would it still not help the water department for the future?
Yes.
That's what they tried to do, Corey, they just wouldn't do it, they're not gonna put it on water tower.
Right, well, the gentleman here asked if anybody had reached out to see, or with the water
They
department.
did, they reached out to all the companies, and this is the only company that was interested in putting a tower up, period, and they would not put it on a water tower.
How tall a tower is this gonna be?
Up to 300 feet.
I know what your answer's gonna be, we did away with the planning commission, but we also have ordinance.
They're no good.
So every ordinance we got on the book in the city of
No
Alcoa is
ordinance
no
you
good.
got compliant,
That's your reason.
allow anything with planning or zoning is any good according
Done
to,
away with to be whatever.
MDOT, that's right. We don't have to do away with it. Done been took care of. All right, let's get down to business. Let's see. Got a guy, Nicholas Shoemaker, that says he's interested in renting a doctor's clinic. The last person that kept calling me, I told him to come to the last city meeting and talk to the board, it's up to the board. She didn't show up and hadn't called him, so that one's over with. This Nicholas Shoemaker is wanting to rent the doctor's clinic. He says he's going to put in a little grocery store, and a little place for snacks and sandwiches and stuff. So, are y'all interested in renting it or not?
We already knew that.
And if you are, how much are you gonna charge rent?
My concern is he gonna gut the doctor's office to turn it into a store, and then is it gonna be fit for anything else in the future?
That'd be a good
That'd be my
concern.
concern.
That'd be my
What's he wanna use it for?
I say no, if we're going to a grocery store.
grocery store and
Convenience
sandwich shop and stuff.
Okay.
You know, a lot of times them things come and go, you know, small.
That'd be number 6.
I hate for them to do a lot to the inside of that doctor's office and it not.
But it was set up,
for a doctor's
it was
office.
set up for a doctor's office, and it was also set up for a doctor's office rent free.
In this last winter, it had about 2 inches of rain in the floor.
It wasn't done in there after we've been elected, cause we've been checking them. We went in there right after the rain, when the drop of water. All right, anybody wanna rent it? Anybody want anything done to it? Or a motion? If not, it'll die like a motion. All right, now, we're at the budget. This year's budget for July 1. Anybody wanna make the motion that property tax rate be 0.00?
I make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Jonathan, second, all, let's see, any questions?
Is this approving the budget as well?
No,
Is it all in one or
no,
just
this
the
is
tax
just for
rate?
property tax. Brandon?
Aye.
Passes. All right, now this is the final reading on the budget for the fiscal year 2025, 2026 for Saltillo. It's been approved once and went over by the alderman. Anybody wanna make the motion to approve this budget?
I make the motion.
There's a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Brandon? John? Ricky?
No.
Chris?
Aye.
Corey?
No.
Ricky and Corey vote no, and Mr. vote no. If y'all will look through your paperwork there, we've got a invoice that showed up all of a sudden from June of last year. That was book purchased by the fire department. And right here it is, we've never received a done for it, I can't find anything, no paperwork on it, no nothing. So I called Dustin Bruce, who was the car chief then, and he said, yes, I bought it and billings approved it. And he said, after we got the books, Billy said there wasn't no money in the fire department, and they wasn't gonna pay for it. I don't know who to believe, and I really none of my concern who's telling the truth and who's lying.
Have we reached out to the previous administration to ask them?
This company has called me, and Dustin is.
That's not the question I asked. The
What,
question-
I can't hear you.
I said, have you reached out to anyone in the previous
I ain't
administration
going
to ask
to,
to verify?
I don't believe them, Corey, the way they destroyed everything, City Hall, I ain't gonna ask them.
Well, at least you
They
have
lie.
two, you have two to believe or not to believe,
They
or
lie.
going,
So this is an invoice for training?
Yeah,
that
there's
we're
nothing,
doing?
there's nothing in the far minutes or the city meeting minutes that says they give them authority to do this. And I'm gonna go what's on the books, but if y'all wanna pay this, I'm fine with that. But I'm not going up and pay this without y'all's approval. And the people that own this company, I told them, and they fully understood. Dustin had bought a lot of stuff on his own, several $1,000s worth of equipment, and he took it when they fired him. But I don't know where to believe Dustin or the other bunch, cause I know the other bunch, what they've done to City Hall before they went out, I don't believe where to say.
I just can't see paying an invoice that's over a year old
But it's a year old this morning.
for training that,
I told the lady, I said, you know, we
We
don't
have
have
nothing
any
to do
proof
with
that this was done other than Dustin's word.
I'm not.
And I said, you know, we may not pay it. And she said, y'all gonna leave us separate.
That's 11 months
It's up to
old.
the board. And this is the first time we've seen anything about this mountain. I really think, I wonder if somebody didn't order it, and the books are supposed to be back here. I haven't seen them, but they're supposed to be here. That's up to y'all.
well, it's not good business.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Somebody needs to say something though, cause we need it on
Can we
the
not-
record,
can
either pay it or not pay it.
Can we not table this till we find, I don't mind reaching out to see what I can find out about it since this
It
is.
ain't gonna be legal for it, whatever they tell you ain't gonna be nothing
Well,
legal,
I
it's gotta
still-
be in writing.
I wanna table it until next meeting.
You take,
If the
You
books
you
are
got-
back
you
there,
got the
then we
one-
need
you
to
got
take them. Because they didn't just show up.
no, they didn't just show up, and the books were bought from somebody in City Hall. And the books should have been paid for in July. But my question is, who ordered them? Did Dustin order them and that was his books? Or did Billings tell him to order them and then he wouldn't pay the bill?
Can I make a
We don't
motion to
know.
table it?
Well,
If you
did the
table
city
it, take
pay them?
2/3 majority, bring it back
Well,
off.
you got the two-thirds to bring it back.
Okay.
I
I just want to tell you up front.
wanna make a motion to table this.
There's second.
Are we sure that the city didn't pay this last year?
It's not on it's not on the bank account.
You second me, Rick?
David, can I ask something?
Sure.
What month was that in?
Do what?
What month was
June
it?
of
June of
24.
Is that not a year already closed out?
Fiscal year old.
But,
It's not a year yet,
Yeah.
at the end of the
next
month, yes,
It will be
it'll be
next
a
month.
year, at the end of the month.
or this month.
But you just now received
That's right.
notification.
We received that this, in May. It's kinda fishy, you know, and I know the situation with Billings and Dustin, and I'm not into that, I don't care who done what. But after I seen what went on in City Hall when we got here, I'm not gonna believe anything I don't see in writing and take their word for it. It's not legal in court anyway, if it's not in the book. What they say don't mean nothing. There was a second to table it, anybody?
Ricky?
Yes, I second it.
Brandon?
It don't matter to me.
I'm all for paying the bills, but I just wanna know a little bit more about this.
That's what I say, if the books are back there, then I think we need to pay for them, but if they're
The
not. I
the
think-
books are supposed to be back there, and, I'm saying somebody in City Hall ordered them.
Did it say how
It's
many?
not
And
gonna
Dustin said he ordered them, he didn't deny that, but he said Billings give him the authority to order them. and
Says
Billings
quantity
would pay
six, Don.
It's not gonna hurt
It
us on
says
the table
quantity
till
of
the next
six.
meeting.
Okay.
I don't know nothing about that fire department,
So
so.
Jonathan, you aye,
Well, they-
Ricky, you aye, Everybody aye, Chris, you aye? Okay, we tabled it.
They was a training book, what
Yeah, it's
what
training
was
book.
it?
It's training
Firefighter
book.
skills with navigate,
They
premier.
said,
Man, they books, they-
Dustin said 6 books, the company said 5. It's Trevor, is what it is.
But should that not have been closed out with the prior administration though?
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, settled with the prior administration.
Why have
Should have been.
I asked him, I said, why have we not been receiving a bill? And that's why I flagged one up. I thought, well, whoever originally ordered them, they ordered them for theirself. And those, he was gonna pay for them, and then all of a sudden he couldn't pay for them, and the city started getting them. That's my concern.
But you've
That's
not
my
seen,
concern.
you've not, Justice not seen a bill in any other of the paperwork up until
None.
now?
None for a year. You see what I'm saying?
I do, yes,
And
yes.
I'm not accusing Dustin of, Dustin told me he ordered them, and he said that the city's supposed to pay for them. But I find nothing in writing but what he ordered them and he was supposed to pay for them. I don't know.
But you ain't seen the first bit of
If it ain't in writing,
PO number, anything attached to anything being ordered.
either one of them
Either
can
way.
say this or that, and it means nothing.
Yeah, but the deal is Jessica's seen nothing up until this time,
That's
or
right.
nothing in the minutes
That's right.
obligating anybody in any way on that.
Yeah, the bills have been going somewhere.
Mm,
And
yeah.
I asked him about that and got no answer. Okay.
Can I make a point?
Yeah.
It should be on the invoice, the book, they have an ISBN number, and that would be able to identify the book. Also, maybe consider, can we return the books? Don't know if that's a
Don't know,
possibility.
but yeah, I just wanted to find out if they wanted to pay it or not pay it, then if they didn't wanna pay it, then I was gonna try to return it and say it was agreeable.
But I'm just saying, would it be agreeable with that company?
That's what I'm
Of
saying.
course, they'd rather just sell them. but-
That's just kinda like Webcast and Axon, you know, they had a signed contract that we'd never get out of, but we did. You know, you get your lawyer working on it, you can get things done.
It does have a invoice number on the. I'm just saying, the book will have an ISBN number.
And it would
If you find
bill-
them, you can match them to that invoice.
It wasn't billed to the city, but it was billed to Dustin Bruce at the city address.
Well, then that would make you think, maybe
It's-
he's the one that ordered those
If
books.
she
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
see it, I
Let's
mean, if
get
it's
down
not
to
in the
fireworks.
prior, if it's not in the prior paperwork that was laid.
Y'all wanna have fireworks or not? July 4th is covered with every little community having fireworks, and people having a good finale.
I'm
Frank?
fine with fireworks if we've got somebody trustworthy like Jameson
Yeah.
to do it, because
Sure.
I can't do it.
Right, if Jameson can do it.
I need the money as soon as possible. I do.
I know.
Okay. I'm
We
just
can
telling y'all.
approve it tonight. We got
Okay.
10,000 coming from the county tonight, and then the city can approve whatever they wanna approve if they don't.
You'll have to go before county court for the final vote.
Yeah.
When
Because
county
I have to
court-
order a lot of stuff.
Well, you won't get it for.
That's
July.
fine, as long as I know I'm getting it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
could
So
it,
if they give 3 and the county gives 2, that would be plenty.
Oh, yeah.
And if you didn't need it all, you wouldn't spend it, but
Yeah.
you'd probably spend it.
Mhm.
so our decision
Buy the
tonight could be
spend it all.
contingent
You already
upon whether the county,
County gonna give us
they're
2,000.
gonna approve it.
Yeah.
Don's on that board, so you should know if that board approved it
Yeah.
tonight. But then it'll have to go before the whole body, but I've never seen anything turned down that any committee put before us.
I motion
Make a motion.
Yes.
3,000?
Yes.
Second?
Second.
All right, that's took care of it.
But we're not gonna do it on the fourth.
It'll be on Saturday night. That won't interfere.
Big
They've all
crowd.
been having all
Big
the
crowd, big
Thanksgiving
fireworks.
and everybody else was having activity, they didn't have a crowd. All right, now the barbecue cook-off, just to let y'all know what's going on. Every few years they move somewhere else. I talked to the lady this week. They're doing a Madison County cook-off in Jackson this year. But she's got some things she wanted to do with the River Day, and I told her, I thought Mike was done filled up, but she knew Mike had his phone number, so she was gonna call him and see what to do with it. So, that's all I've got. Anybody wanna make a motion to adjourn?
I make it.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, aye? All opposed, like sign.